Dear students, today we will be discussing about data types of JavaScript. So we will be starting with identifier. So identifiers are same as Java or in C++, except that it allows an additional character dollar. A dollar symbol is the additional character allowed by JavaScript. Identifiers contains only capital letter A to Z, small letters A to Z, numbers 0 to 9, special characters like underscore and dollar symbol. These are the character set of identifiers. So capital letter alphabets, small letter alphabets, numbers 0 to 9, underscore and dollar symbol. First character cannot be a digit. Identifiers are case sensitive, cannot be reserved words or keywords. So we cannot use keywords or reserved words as an identifier. So how variables are declared? See, local variable is declared using the keyword var. var for variable. Suppose you are not declaring var before a variable declaration, that also considered. There will not be any error. See the program. So there are two variable declarations, one for x and the other one with y. So x is equal to 3 and var space y is equal to 4. So both are correct expressions. First one is declared as x is equal to 3 without a var keyword. The second one y is declared with a var keyword. There is no difference. If a variable is used without being declared, the variable is created automatically and a variable can hold any type of value. This is known as dynamic binding. That is, a variable can hold any type of value. If a variable is used without being declared, the variable is created automatically. For local variable declaration, we will be using the keyword var. If you misspell a variable name, program will still run but works incorrectly. In our program, we have declared two variables. So x is equal to 3, y is equal to 4. So y is a local variable because var keyword is used before y. Anyway, so there is a block inside an anonymous block. Two instructions are there. X is equal to 0, var y is equal to 1. These are the two declarations, variable declarations, x and y declaration with initial values 0 and 1 respectively for x and y variables. So in that particular anonymous block, y is a local variable. Out of that particular anonymous block, y is local to the outside block. Okay, so out of that particular block, x is equal to 3. So always x retains 3 there. Variable y is equal to 4. So y retains 4 in that particular block. So again, redefinition for x and y is taken in that anonymous block. So here that open parenthesis introduce a block to create a local scope. So there x is equal to 0, var y is equal to 1. So locally in that anonymous block, x value will return 0, y variable value will return 1. Out of that particular anonymous block, x and y will return 0 and 4 respectively, because x is not a local variable. Suppose we are using var before any variable while it is declared, then that particular variable becomes local to that particular block. So here in anonymous block, x is equal to 0, that redefines the x value. Previously it was 3, now it becomes 0. So redefinition will work globally because we haven't specified var keyword before x when it is declared. Okay, so the last statement, alert x is equal to plus x plus comma y is equal to inside double quotes plus y. So plus is the concatenation operator here, so that will return the value for that particular message. So here alert message will print x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 4. So here data types, which are the different types of data types: primitive data types, composite data types, special data types. So primitive data types: number, boolean, string. Number includes integer and floating point numbers. Boolean, true or false values are included there. String, a sequence of alphanumeric characters. Alphanumeric characters, alphabets and numeric characters, that are strings. Composite data types or complex data type. There are two different types of composite data types or complex data type: objects and arrays. Object is a named collection of data. Array, a sequence of values. An array is actually a predefined object. We will discuss it later. Special data types: null, undefined. These are the two special data types. Null, the only value is null to represent nothing. So null, null in small letter, that is the only value. The next one is undefined, to represent the value of an uninitialized variable. So both are different. Null returns nothing and undefined returns an uninitialized variable. That is the meaning of undefined. Suppose one particular variable x is not initialized. In our previous example, x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 3, that is the declaration we had performed. Suppose we are not performing any initialization for a variable, whenever we are trying to return an uninitialized variable, then that will return undefined. Now comes to strings. A string variable can store a sequence of alphanumeric characters, spaces and special characters. So spaces and special characters are allowed here in strings. A string variable can store a sequence of alphabets, numbers, spaces and special characters. Each character is represented using 16-bit. So each character width is 16-bit. So you can store Chinese characters in a string. A string can be enclosed by a pair of single quotes or double quotes. Now use escaped character sequence to represent special characters like quotation mark, new line, tab, etc. So quotation mark, it is having a special meaning. We are enclosing a string value in single quote or double quote. Suppose you need to display single quote or double quote as such, we will remove the special meaning for single quote or double quotation by using a slash. So slash double quotes, that will remove the special meaning of double quote. For new line, slash n. For a tab space, slash t. These are the representation or code for getting a particular value. Now type of operator. So type of operator retains the type of a particular variable. See the script. Let variable x is equal to hello comma y. Then an x and y values are returned using alert message or alert method. Alert variable x value is plus type of x. Then variable y value is type of y. Variable z value is type of z. So here a unary operator that tells the type of its operand is type of. That operator name or unary operator name is type of. So that retains a string which can be number, string, boolean, object, function, undefined and null. So in the first case x retains a string. An array is internally represented as an object. So arrays are also represented using object. So whenever we are trying to retain the type of an array, object is the value retained. So retains a string which can be a number, string, boolean, object, function, undefined and null. That means the string is either a number, string, boolean, object, function, undefined or null. Here retains a string means retains a result, that is a meaning here. Objects. An object is a collection of properties. Properties can be variables or functions. Otherwise, fields or methods. Properties can be variables or fields or functions and methods. There is no class in JavaScript. JavaScript is an object-based language, scripting language. JavaScript is designed on a simple object-based paradigm. An object is a collection of properties and a property is an association between a name and a value. So objects are constructed using name-value pairs. A property's value can be a function, in which case the property is known as a method. We will discuss about object in detail. JavaScript object is an entity having state and behavior, that is property and methods. For example, car, pen, bike, chair, glass, keyboard, monitor, etc. JavaScript is an object-based language. Everything is an object in JavaScript. So array is also an object. Now we will move to array. Array is represented by the array object. To create an array of n elements, you can write var, that is a keyword, variable declaration, var that makes my array a local variable. So var space my array is equal to new array of the size. Here it is specified as n. Index of array runs from 0 to n minus 1. Suppose you are specifying 10 as the size. Index value of an array of that array will be from 0 to 9. That is 10 minus 1. That is 9. Array can store values of different types. Property length tells the number of elements in the array. Array consists of various methods to manipulate its element. Reverse, push, concat for concatenation. We will see all these methods in our coming classes. One example is here with respect to array. Here var car is equal to new array of 3. So car is the array name with the size 3. And car of 0, 1, 2. These are the index positions of car array. All the index positions are assigned with index numbers and array locations are initialized with string values. Car of 0 is equal to Ford, car of 1 is equal to Toyota, car of 2 is equal to Honda. This is one method of creating array. We can directly initialize all these values when an array is declared, where car2 is equal to new array of Ford, Toyota, Honda. So automatically car2 of 0 is initialized with Ford, car2 of 1 is initialized with Toyota, car2 is initialized with Honda. Another method is specified there, where car3 is equal to, in square brackets, Ford, Toyota, Honda. This also will work like the second statement, car2. We will move on to another example. An array of 3 elements, each element is undefined. See, var tmp1 is equal to new array of 3. We haven't initialized. Suppose anyone is trying to return the value of tmp1 of 0, then that will be undefined. The returned value will be undefined. Similarly for tmp1 of 1 and tmp1 of 2, because nothing is initialized there. The second example, an array of 3 elements with initial values. var tmp2 is equal to new array of 10, 100, -3. While returning the value of tmp2 of 0, 10 is returned. For tmp2 of 1, the value 100 is returned. tmp2 of 2 will return -3. Now, an array of 3 elements with initial values of different types, where tmp3 is equal to new array 1, that is a number, a, that is a string, true, that is a boolean. 3 different types are there. So that is also possible in JavaScript, because arrays are considered as objects. Then we are changing the size of an array. See the tmp3 statement, where tmp3 is equal to new array of 3 values are there. The size of the tmp3 array is 3. We need to make the length of that tmp3 array to 10. For that we will be using the statement like tmp3.length is equal to 10. So index value 0 to 9 will be assigned, and tmp 0 is initialized with the value 1. tmp3 of 1 is initialized with the value string a. tmp3 of 2 is initialized with the value boolean value true, and tmp3 of 3 to tmp3 of 9 are undefined. We haven't initialized those values yet. How to make tmp3 an array of 100 elements? tmp3 of 99 is equal to something. You can give any value as the initial value for tmp3 of 99. Here this makes tmp3 of 3 to tmp3 of 98 are undefined. Only tmp3 of 99 is having some value, because we have already initialized the index value position for tmp3. Rest of the value positions will be, index value position will be left uninitialized, so undefined. Now, null and undefined. What are the differences between null and undefined? An undefined value is represented by the keyword undefined. It represents the value of an uninitialized variable. We already discussed, suppose a variable is not initialized, then that will return undefined. Undefined is the value, undefined. The keyword null is used to represent nothing. Declare and define a variable as null if you want the variable to hold nothing. So that is an explicit value or initial value for a particular variable. X is equal to null, that means x is nothing, that holds nothing. Avoid leaving a variable undefined. So suppose you are initializing a variable with null, then that will avoid leaving a variable undefined. That is the meaning, null and undefined. Suppose you are not giving an initial value for a particular variable, then that returns undefined. Suppose you need to make a particular variable nothing, you have to initialize that particular variable with null. Here, type conversion. How to convert to a boolean value? The following values are treated as false. Null is treated as false value. Undefined is also treated as a false value. Plus 0, minus 0, not a number. NaN stands for not a number. So numbers. Empty string. All these are considered as false values. So this is one way of converting something to boolean. Suppose null, you are initializing a particular variable with null, so that will be considered as false, that is a boolean value. Undefined also considered as false. Plus 0, minus 0, NaN, etc. Then empty string, double quotes without any value, even a single space will not be there inside double quotes, then that will be considered as a false value. Type conversion, converting a value to a number. Var number value is equal to some variable minus 0. Some variable, for example x is there, x is initialized with a value 12 in double quotes, so something in double quotes will be considered as string. So some variable is 12, in that particular case 12 minus 0 will make that particular string to a number. 12 minus 0 is 12 and that will be a number now. Converting a value to a string. String var is equal to some variable plus double quotes, a single space inside double quotes, that will work. So some variable, suppose some variable is equal to 12, that is a number, we need to make that particular some variable to a string, so some variable plus double quotes. Converting a value to a boolean, double exclamation mark before that particular variable. For example, x is there, x is equal to 12, you need to make that particular x a boolean value, you need to provide double exclamation x, that will make that particular value or variable a boolean variable or a boolean value. Tomorrow we will consider some other topics. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you please ask me.